Hi, I'm Tony Williams and you're once again welcome to Knowing What I Now Know. As I like to start all my videos, I first of all like to say a big thanks to everyone who has taken it upon themselves to reach out to me on my previous posts, those who've done it by phone, by email, through my social media platforms, even those who did it in person. I want to say a big heartfelt thank you to you guys. I want to say all your advices and encouragement, everything's greatly appreciated. I always take them on board. They're literally like fuel to my tank to enable me keep going and doing what I'm doing. So I want to say thank you once again. Don't stop doing what you're doing, because it also, as much as it encourages me, it also allows me to know that, or lets me know that this is not just a one-directional platform, and I am engaging with someone out there, or people, and the messages I'm putting out there in a way or another is impacting people's life. Secondly, it's also a good place to say that the way the blog has been designed is to put out a series of life-changing and transformational videos based mostly on my life experiences and things that I've experienced in life, showcasing things where I was coming from, where I am and where I'm going to, and steps in how, or personal development steps in how I was able to attain these goals. It's never easy to go from one place to another, especially when you're so set in your ways. But through the help of these videos and through the help of some of the experiences that I've had and decisions I've made myself that change my life around, I hope these things will be empowering enough to do the same to you. So the way the videos are set is so they could be in sequence of one to the other, how I think it's important for you guys, or what I think is important for you guys to know if you so as much think that you want to make changes, and how you could take practical steps, and in a way not jumping the gun, but taking it one step at a time, making steady but slow progress into attaining that desired goal and outcome that you want. So most of the videos are, as I said, are put out in that kind of sequence. So if there is anything else that you have missed, or if this perchance this is the first time that you're seeing me on your screens, then it's a good idea to always look at the backlog of videos that I've done in the past, which address certain issues, or which address certain ways in which certain areas in which I've made change, or transformational changes. And hopefully what it does is that it brings you in sync with this whole journey, where I was coming from, where I am now, and where we're going to. And hopefully you could be part of this journey as well. The best way to do it, as I always say, is always subscribe to my YouTube channel, or sign up for my newsletter on my website, or my social media follow us on my social media platforms. All it does is that it gives you prompts when my next material comes out there. So in a way you're not missing nothing. You don't have to wait till every Friday. Sometimes I'm not even able to upload it on Friday, but you don't have to wait till Friday, because you would have a prompt or notification by email that a new material, a new article, or a new video is out there for you to listen to. So yeah, it also encourages me as well to know that I have got a number of people who are paying attention to this. So yeah, iron sharpens iron, they say. So if I put something out there that blesses you, the only thing you can do back for me is follow me back on any of those social media platforms, and let's walk this journey together. Brilliant. So having said that, let's dive right into it. Last week I spoke about the power of our thoughts, and I addressed certain issues on how our thoughts affect certain areas of our body, like how our thoughts affect our character, how it affects our purpose, how it affects our mind, how it affects our behavior, how people look at us just simply by what we think, and they could determine, or they could ascertain who we are as human beings, or how we could look or corporate on the outside. But until we open our mouths, which is a signal from our mind, people, or a signal not from our minds, because some people just open their mouths, just anyhow, And it's not until you do that, not until something from your brain connects with a different, a part of your body, a member of your body, and that member of your body gives an outward representation of what you're thinking inside, that people are able to define who we are as human beings. And I wouldn't say ironically, but unfortunately for many, that's what has defined us as human beings. So some people could look at you and just say, this guy, he's ignorant. It's not because on the outward he's ignorant, it's because via the thoughts that he thinks in his head that connects with his mouth or that connects with his character, he portrays an ignorant attitude. And that's just basically how it is. So it's not really that you walk around as an ignorant person, or you stand up and you automatically become ignorant, or you're born into ignorance from heaven, but it's just the way our thoughts connect with the rest of our body. And that's where the aphorism where they say, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he, comes from. But I always go one further and say, it's not only as you think in your heart, so are you, but it's as you continue to think, so you will remain. So if you make a determined purpose not to change the thoughts in your head, it's highly unlikely that anything in your life would change, unless you're so happy with the way you are, or unless you're so satisfied with the way you are. If you're broke, busted and disgusted and you're happy with it, then don't change the thoughts in your mind. If you're successful and you think the whole world revolves around you, destruction is probably just looming ahead, because that's not the right way of living anyway. No matter how successful you are, you still have to have a loving and a giving heart. You still have to accommodate people and know that one person brought you up there, you need to bring another person up that ladder as well. So so that's a few things I tried to address in my last post, which I shared on character, how our thoughts affect our character. Like, what you think in your mind is what you outwardly do. And I made an example of, you can't go anywhere and just sit down and not say nothing, just keep your mouth shut, and anyone would be able to define who you are. Or you can't be thinking all your nonsense or whatever you're thinking about, good, bad, pleasant thoughts in your house, and if there's no one around you, anyone outside that you haven't yet ever affected would be able to say something about your character. It's only when you bring that character into a public place and you bring that character into an appearance, because it's in the environment or in a public place that character exhibits who yourself itself, and then that public or that environment that is around you, or the people that are around you, are able to see who you are as human being. As a human being, that's when they can make assumptions about who you are or what your character's like. So unless you bring that thought into your body to physically manifest what you're thinking, nobody's able to judge your character. And if you're thinking ignorant things, if you're thinking that the whole world is on your head, it's not going to be long before your character, because your body internally is like a slave to your thoughts. So if I think to nod my head, I'll nod my head. If I think to move my hand, I'll move my hand. They say someone's paralyzed when you have the thoughts that you want to do something, but your body can't automatically respond to what you want to do. So someone who unfortunately has a stroke and paralyzed from the right side or the left side down or whatever, they have the thoughts to move that member of their body, but their body has stopped responding to the thought, to the signal of the thought, and that's just basically what it is. So if but you're not happy with a situation, or you're not happy with a way of life, all you have to do is change learn. They say learn to change the thoughts in your mind, and it would begin to portray an outward representation of what you're thinking in your mind, would begin to portray itself in your body, would begin to portray itself in your character. So if you were in a bad place before, and you think to yourself, you started to say to yourself, continuously saying to yourself, I'm not going to do this no more. I'm not going to. Okay, if you were an argumentative person, so if you keep on saying, okay, look, every time I'm arguing, every time I'm, doing the same thing, arguing with people at football, but I'm not gaining no result. Tomorrow when I go to football, no matter what they do, I'm not going to argue. If the whole fracas breaks out and you just take a step back because you have told yourself you're not going to argue over this issue no more, and you just take a step back, no matter what arguments they're doing, you're going to be out of it. You're not going to be involved, because what happens is you argue about it, and then someone says something, and then you get, that argument leads to a bigger thing, and then the law of cause and effects kicks in. But you have the power, or we have the power to eject ourselves, or withdraw ourselves, I should say, from that same law of cause and effect that could cause us harm. We have the power to eject ourselves from it and give ourselves that same law and effect through our thoughts, that we would do I'm saying law and effect, cause and effect, I beg your pardon, cause and effect. From that same law of cause and effect, that would bring us the right response. Because if that argument broke out, and normally I would argue, and then I say, look, I can't be bothered with all this thing, it's not making no change, I'm not going to argue. And then you argue with this one, you argue with that one, you argue this one, and I say, look, I'm not going to argue no more. Now I'm just going to be looking at what they're doing. And when the argument breaks out, you just take a step back and you're just calm. Nothing's going to happen. By the time eventually it will sort itself out. Whether you get involved, whether you don't get involved, it will sort itself out. The only thing is, by you not getting involved, you have given yourself a new channel of thinking that ultimately doesn't get you angry, because that argument would have got you angry, would have got you agitated, would have got you frustrated. You probably would have argued with someone else, and I'm talking if it's football now, you probably might have thrown a punch or thrown a left hook, did an Anthony Joshua or someone. But if you just take the time out, that look, whatever it is, I'm here to play football, we're going to get into this game, play and go, end of story. After this game I still want to go home, so why should I come here and just be annoyed and swearing at this one, cussing at this? And that's just how it is. It's just about thinking. There's a lot to do with your pride and your ego, but all of it as well, because you might think, no, I'm never going to let this guy get away with this, he did it, but it's all in your thoughts. Because at the end of the day, you could ask yourself and just say, so even if I don't do nothing, what's the worst that's going to happen? What's the worst that's going to happen? Would this game come to an end? Would I go home thinking I've been, undermined, or someone's taken advantage of me? No. Because at the end of the day, it's all in our head. So that's how it could affect our character. And I talked about how it could affect our purpose, about how, if we don't think right, if we don't lock our thoughts onto something tangible in life, it's very hard for us to get to a destination. Because if it doesn't, if we don't have a purpose, then we're literally roaming aimlessly around the world, or, we're just walking, like on cloud nine, without making no impact, like without gaining ground. So, they say you can't be walking within and standing still without. So if your mind is thinking something and you're physically not walking to gain ground, on the level of what what your mind is thinking, then you're technically just aimlessly roaming around. And if our thoughts don't have a purpose, if we don't have a defined purpose, that this is what we want to lock our mind onto, this is what we want to wake up today and achieve. If you wake up every day and you set one goal for yourself, one simple goal, that's a purpose for the day. If you think, doing a 1 year plan is too much, 10-year plan is too much, I used to wake up and I just set one goal for myself. Even when I used to be properly on the grind and doing my hustle, I used to wake up and say, look, all I want is what some of my friends say, yeah, we've got 10 goals, we did. I'm like, that's cool, I want one, because that one, I'll know I'll put all my heart into it, I will do it, and hopefully I would get the results that I want. My result might not be as big as you, but my stress is not going to be as big as you if that whole 10 things just, come tumbling down. So I'll set one goal for myself, and that one goal, I'll have time to achieve it, and even reprogram my mind to set another same consistent goal for myself the following day. So where you've done 10 in one day and you're probably all worn out, I've gone the slow and steady pace and set another goal for myself the next day, and there'll be quality in it, and the outcome of most of these goals for me, they sometimes supersedes those who did 10 of them, because at those 10 they couldn't even sort of organize it properly, they couldn't oversee everything properly, so it's just it's just doing it as in a numbers game that gained no results. And for me, there wasn't it wasn't making sense. So for most of my ones, I'd make it quality. If it's one, I'll make it one nice quality thing, and I'll do it, and I'll set that goal for me. And all my thoughts I could put into that purpose, so I could accomplish that purpose. Because I said, thoughts don't go from thoughts to accomplishment, it goes from thoughts to the process of a purpose, and then to accomplishment. And when you have that purpose in you, because that purpose is like a target, every time you even stumble, you could get back up and you could move forward, or you could get back up and you could say, oh, that's my goal, I haven't reached it, although I could almost touch it, although it's in my grasp, I'm yet to get there, but because I could see it, because it's a purpose, because I'm not looking at the final, I'm not looking at just an aimless outcome that, oh, maybe, because I'm focused on a particular thing, I know I could get there soon. The next part I want to talk about today, and a few more bits, is how our thoughts affect our body. As I said, our body is a slave to our thoughts. For us to have a healthy body, it's only what's the word I could use? It's only reasonable that we nourish, healthy thoughts. If you're just a generally angry person, think about it. What makes you angry? Is it what you see, or what goes into your head? It's what goes into your head, because there's times in an angry person's life where he's just not angry. It might be because of the environment he's in, it might be because of a party he went to, it might be because of a girl that comes next to him, it could be anything. They're just areas that there's no person who's angry 24/7. So if you're just a naturally angry person, you got to think about what you do that makes you angry, or what is around you that makes you angry. You've got to be able to identify it and then set your mind on it that, oh, this is the thing that makes me angry. I'm not going to be a slave to this thing. If there's 1% of something that makes you happy, just 1%, and you want to change the power of your thoughts so your body could be healthy, then you need to start giving more light for that 1% to shine in your life. You need to be doing it more. So if you're on a job and that job is is not bringing light into your body, you need to look for one piece of the job or another thing that you love doing, and you need to start giving that more attention so that more light can shine into your body. And if it's not that, then you need to also start giving because you see, the way our body is if you don't change your thoughts, it's impossible for you to get the outward representation on your body. Because, okay, a prime example would be someone who's obese. No disrespect to the people who are obese. But if you are obese and you're thinking to yourself, I want to lose this weight, but the thoughts in your head are constantly going to the donut, to the burger, to all these unhealthy foods, and you're constantly eating, but you look at yourself every time and you think, you know what, I want to lose this weight, I want to look good, I want to be able to fit into this dress, but every time your thoughts cannot stop your mouth or your mind. You're not using your thoughts to stop your mind from eating unhealthy. It's no rocket science that you will remain obese. As a man thinks in his heart, so he is. As a man continues to think in his heart, so he will remain. So it's not going to be rocket science that's how you're going to be. No matter how in your mind you're thinking, one part of it is thinking, I've got to change. Change's not going to come because there's no harmony between your thoughts and your actions, and that's what psychologists call cognitive dissonance. There's got to be harmony between your thoughts and your actions so you can get the desired outcome. I always say to myself, I'm one day, there you go, one day going to be in the gym and I'm going to be big and strong, but do you know what it is? There's no harmony there, because as much as I think it, I don't see myself in the gym on a regular basis. Hence, I always say, I've got a football stature. I've got, yes, it's there. But that's what it is. There has to be harmony. Your mind has to make your body master its command, because if it doesn't master its command, if they're not in harmony together, there's not going to be no results. If you constantly think the world is on your shoulder, you constantly think all bad things, you are not nothing, I'm never going to amount to nothing, I'm never going to be anything in life, this person's better than me, this person's better than me, I haven't got the latest this, I haven't got the latest that, eventually, my friend, depression will set in, and that's because your mind is overbearing your body with negative thoughts, and after a while your body will start responding. It will start giving negative response to everything. You be downcast, you be torn from inside out, and out. Once you're torn from inside out, outside will show an appearance of a torn man. So that's the power in our thoughts. If we want, our body to change, if we want our minds, if we want our body to change, if we want our physical appearance to change, if we want, our health to change, we've got to start encouraging positive thoughts into our life so that we can start we can become a reflection of these thoughts that we think in our life. And I think another one I wanted to talk about is how it affects our visions and our ideas, and part of that is similar to what I spoke about on purpose, because with visions and ideas, nothing, as I said, is accomplished in this world without being someone's thought first. Anything we do, you look at all the things around me, it's an industrial estate, anything that's around me was once someone's idea. So that idea is a thought, and unless that thought becomes a vision or a purpose and lacks into it, it would never get the end result. And that's as simple as I don't even have to say much. The man who built the car, the man who did the torch, the lights, Edison, Henry Ford, mention them. Everything has to be a vision first. It's a dream, it's a vision, it locks on, but it's a thought. In the subconscious is the thought. I wish I could do that. It didn't just fall from heaven. It was a process, and in that process, it was a thought. It was a thought that was put into writing, that started to be put in, they started to practicalize it, they started to, put all the manufacturing things together to make it work, and eventually it became what it is, and it became an accomplishment. But if I'm just sitting down thinking, it's gonna happen one day, que sera, sera, que sera, sera, and I sit down and I wake up tomorrow, que sera, sera, I've got this thought, it's gonna happen one day, and I wake up the next day, in 10 years time, I'll still wake up and be saying, que sera, sera, it's gonna happen one day, no accomplishment, no purpose, no plan, and that's how bad that is. And the last bit I want to talk about also is how our thoughts affect our peace of mind. They say the peace that God gives us, it surpasses all understanding. So generally, our peace of mind, because we're, a being, I don't want to be a bit spiritual, but because we're a being made in the likeness and the image of God, it's natural that we should have peace that surpasses all understanding. But the only way that we deprive ourselves from this is by what goes into our head. You watch something on Instagram, oh, I want to be this person. You see this person, and within you there's no resources, or you don't even know how much resources, or you can't find any form of resources that would even allow you to be this person. But automatically you want to become this person, and how to do it is never there. But rather than wake up every morning and think, or wake up every day and think, you know what, this is who I am, I'm confident and I'm satisfied with who I am, and I surely know that, if I continue to process the right thoughts in my head, affirm the right things in my head, regardless of what anything that looks visual or eye-catching might be at this point in time, I know I am capable of doing more than all of this in my own lane, without crossing into anybody's lane, without obstructing anybody, without thinking because you did it I have to do it. By all means, it's good to have set goals and let people encourage you, or be or for them to be like your mentors, or for them to you to look at them and think, okay, this is a target that I'm chasing after, but you still have to do it in your own lane. You still have to do it. You have to cook out a plan that works with you. You can't overburden your mind. You can't overburden yourself. You can't set goals that are unrealistic and that will put you under pressure, and that would eventually make you just bust your brain cells literally, because you can't figure out a way of doing it. They say every answer to our problem in life is in our thoughts. You might not know it, I might not know it, somebody else knows it, but for that other person to know it, it's in his thoughts. It's not because it was dropped up from dropped on him from heaven. No, there was a process. We might not be able to comprehend all of it at one go, but it's definitely in his thoughts, it's in his mind, and that is why they get a result. I hope this blesses someone. I did this in a rush because I hadn't posted this week, but if I need to, I could revisit this in a more better and expanded manner. But as short as it is, coupled with the one I did last week, I hope this post blesses someone. And until we meet again next time, peace.